battle lines have been drawn in Paris, with the Springboks and England set to fight it out for a place in the final. South Africa have the historical advantage over their opponents. The Boks have won 27 of the 45 matches between the two, most recently beating England at Twickenham in late 2022. Now, for more on this, we're joined live from Paris by eNCA reporter Percival Young. A very good morning to you, Percy. I know it's still relatively early in the day. That match is only taking place at 9 p.m. tonight. But looking ahead to that semi-final between South Africa and England, how do you see it playing out? And Percy, be objective.
Good morning to you, Nandi, from a rather overcast Paris. I can tell you, Nandi, this is another city that does not sleep. A lot of people moving around here in the early hours of this morning. I can tell you also, we are expecting rain here in Paris again, just like yesterday, in the build-up to the second semi-final match. And it might obviously have an impact on this match. Like you mentioned, it's a big clash. It's South Africa facing off against England once again in a knockout match here in Paris. But Nandi, I can tell you, it's the morning after the night before. You rightfully mentioned about what happened last night. It was a 7-try demolition of Argentina. I spoke to some of the fans, especially New Zealand fans. They were expecting New Zealand to beat Argentina, but not by that performance they delivered against Argentina yesterday. It was a one-sided performance. New Zealand showed their dominance against Argentina, and they booked their place in the final. Now all eyes will be focused on what happens tonight at the very same venue, at Stade de France. Close to 80,000 fans expected tonight at that venue to see what the world champions, the defending world champions, can do against this England side. Will they be able to do the same they did in 2019? Well, I asked Siya Kolisi that question, asking him, will they enter this match as the outright favourites? And he was very diplomatic, saying, that is not the way they see this match. In fact, they said they've got the utmost respect for Steve Borthwick and Owen Farrell and his side, and they will have to be at their best if they want to get past this England side tonight in the semi-final match. It's going to be a massive clash. The winner takes it all, and the winner books its place in the final against New Zealand.
Speaking of that final against New Zealand, Percy, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we saw New Zealand beating Argentina by a huge margin. Is it a case of the New Zealand is just very good, or Argentina were below par? I'm asking because I want to know what we can expect if we do get to the final.
Well, Nandi, I think the reaction after the match was, I think many people expected Argentina to put a much bigger fight against this New Zealand side. They've managed to beat New Zealand twice in the last couple of years, but last night it just didn't seem like they rocked up at the stadium yesterday. New Zealand was a class on its own yesterday. They played rugby like they played in the past. 7 tries, to be exact, to none by Argentina. And a lot of the critics are now asking, is this the New Zealand side that managed to win this title 3 times in the past? Well, from a South African point of view, they can't be focusing on New Zealand now. They've got a massive hurdle that they need to get over tonight. It's a hurdle in the form of England. Owen Farrell said, over the last 4 years, a lot has happened. They've grown as a nation. They accept the fact that they lost convincingly in 2019 in that final against South Africa. But they've grown in confidence. A number of young players came through the system in this England side, and they believe they've prepared well. They are still the only unbeaten side in this semi-final, and they believe they'll put up a brave fight against this South African side. In fact, Steve Borthwick believes his side is good enough. He selected a 23-man side that will put up a fight and will possibly dethrone the defending champions tonight here at Stade de France.
Percy, what has been some of the talking points that have come out of the Bok camp as ahead of this fixture coming up later this evening? What are some of the talking points that have come from the Bok camp?
Well, Nandi, one thing that was rather concerning yesterday was obviously the big news that the Springbok scrum of Kobus Reinach, he's received a number of death threats. But the Springbok camp, they tried to put up a brave face, saying it's a matter that's now being dealt with the local authorities here in France. Kobus Reinach has since had an interview with the French police, and he has given his side of events. But the Springbok camp says they won't be deterred. They are focused on the task at hand. Kobus Reinach was part of the captain's run yesterday. He says he's focused on what they need to do. He'll be wearing the number 9 jumper today, lining up with Mani Libbok as the fly-off. Andre Pollard will be on the bench with Faf de Klerk. On the other side, Steve Borthwick, he has made 3 changes to his side. One concerning thing in the England side is that Marcus Smith could not be selected for the England side. Obviously, he hasn't passed his HRA test, and he will not make it into the side. But Steve Borthwick believes he selected a strong side that will face off against this South African side. They are saying they accept the fact that they won't be the favourites tonight, but they believe they've got the ammunition to take on this South African side. It's going to be a massive clash. The focus is also on the referee. The referee, Ben O'Keefe, a man who's been officiating in that quarter-final match between South Africa and France. He will once again be the man in the middle tonight. A lot of question marks about Ben O'Keefe, but both sides, they were very diplomatic, saying they believe in the system. They believe World Rugby have selected the right man to officiate this match. It's going to be a massive clash, Nandi. Like I said, the winner takes it all. The winner will advance to the final and book its spot in the final against New Zealand.
Absolutely, Percy. And by the end of that match, one team will really like Ben O'Keefe and one not so much. We're going to catch up with you a little bit later on, Percy. That is eNCA reporter Percival Young joining us live from Paris ahead of the Springboks' titanic clash against 2003 champions England.